Hello folks, I've got a problem in my bathroom here. I've got a shower that constantly drips. The problem of the dripping is probably caused by when I turn this off, it's not quite shutting off the valve and it's letting a tiny bit come down through here. And I think this pops off here and there's a screw there. So I'll start with taking those apart. At some point I gotta shut the water off, but I don't want to do that just yet. To get this handle off, these are screwed in there, so I'm gonna just do that. Alright, now I gotta get this whole thing out of here. So this little plastic gear ring comes out, and then probably that piece, so that's what turns the hot and cold. That's this part here that you turn to make it hot or cold. And now I see I've got this brass nut here, so that's turning by hand. That's good. Making progress. There we go. And there we go. I want to keep that. All right, we got this far. I've got the water shut off and ready to keep going here. So this has this brass ring here. This is a nut of sorts, and that just unthreads, comes off there. Back to this, if yours is stuck on there, and that can happen, grabbing it by pliers may, this brass is so soft, it may pinch it and then you'll never get it off. If that's the case, you can take a hacksaw, start cutting through it lightly. You can't go all the way through there, you'll damage the rest of it. And then you can take a screwdriver to pry it open, and then this will break and you pull it off. I've got to keep getting the rest of this out. This whole insert comes out, and I can feel it. Okay, you can see into the back of the faucet there, and you can see those two holes. That's where the hot and water come out. And I'm going to show you the replacement parts, but those are rubber gaskets with a little spring behind them. Here's the replacement parts. This is Delta parts. These are not cheap. I think this was $70. But that's the cartridge that we just took out of there. I just grab my screwdriver and try to pop these out. There's a spring. There's two of these in the back of those two holes. It's a spring and a washer. Spring and a rubber washer. So take those off, put to the side. The other one out. Spring and a washer. Those are what's causing the leak. And the way this works is, hopefully you can see on there, there's the little black marks there from where these washers usually sit. And when you turn the water on, this thing rotates such that the hole lines up and the water comes out, and then this thing spins to the off position. The water still wants to come out, but it can't get underneath this washer, except right now it can. There's two other parts in there that I gotta take out here. There's one. And two. Now we're going to put in new washers, and all we got to do is put in these two replacement washers. Now I've got to continue with putting in these parts, if you can see. So here's the black rubber washer that sits on the back. And then here's the spring. And if you can tell by the spring, it's got a cone shape. It's not the same diameter top to bottom, so you put the thinner end in. Now what you may want to do is grab a screwdriver. Maybe I'll do is grab a screwdriver like this so they stay together. Get the screwdriver in the hole, and then that will line them up. And then push them in snug. Time to put in the new one. This is the old one, and you can see the new one's a little bit shorter, so it comes with some additional parts to make it the right size. But you'll notice that there's a notch on the left-hand side here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little notch here, and there's also a notch there. So that's going to tell you how to get it to go in. So that's easy. We'll put that in. Yep, so that's compressing nicely. The other thing, and if you took a photo at the beginning, you'll know how yours is oriented. So when my shower was off, the flat on the bottom of this was facing down, and there's a hex all the way around this part, except on one side of it, it's rounded. There's no hex. And this is so that your shower handle ends up at the same spot. So in this case, the round part was on the side there. Right in there. Let's assume that's turned all the way off. I want this round piece on the side. Let's see if I can line up the gears. Yep, so there's that. And then that will go in there. Let's put the old nut back on. And you can push on your, push in on the plastic part so that it's wedged in there nicely. There we go, hand tight. And before you put on this part, take this O-ring that we had from earlier and put that down the bottom. That goes in there, and you're just gonna shove that over there. That keeps that still. I've already put this little plastic screw gear, whatever, this gear thing in there. And then remember I told you about this is a hex here, and then one side is rounded. I found that here, and it just happens to line up with where it was with the handle, so that goes on there. This brass nut that I took off, would have been easier. Take this gear out first, and I can twist the nut on. And it was only hand tight the first time, so that's all I'm doing this time. Now put the gear back in. The last piece is to put the handle in. So I took the pieces out and just all attached them at once. That's the little knob, got a little hole in there, so just putting it back together. Find the flat, there it is. Last thing is to screw in this little screw, which will then hold this all together. Cover plate on here, it tells people which way is hot and cold. Here we are, it's 24 hours later. Haven't used the sink, or the tub. But the base here, bone dry. Nothing. Absolutely nothing there. Work like a charm. Good luck when you do yours.